This is make my trip, correct? Even if you don't recap it, I have to recap it to explain one more concept. So this is Jet Airways or Air Asia database, or this is called as server. This is called as client. This is called as request, and this is called as response. Request will be in the form of JSON or XML. Response will be in the form of JSON or XML. But XML we don't use it. This is the basic, correct? Client to request to that this response. Okay. Here you will have payload. Okay. New terminologies for today. Okay. One is source, one is rest. Okay. Again, you know what is P? P is nothing but protocol. Protocol is nothing but a set of guidelines. Protocol is nothing but a set of guidelines. Correct? Now, S stands for simple. Object. Access protocol. Correct? Again, the same concept prevails here. Why object? Because POJO. POJO is what? Plain old Java object. Plain old Java object. Correct? Why simple object access protocol? I'll tell you one story. In web automation, before Selenium came, you had QTP, correct? QTP, or later on it was converted into UFT, correct? Correct? Yes or no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
You know this QTP? It was a record and playback was also there. Along with that, they used VB script. Something called as VB script, a language used to automate web application. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This was overtaken by Micro Focus company, but they did not give it for free. They charged a licensed version. Okay, they charged around lakhs, 1 lakh for one user. Okay, na? How many days it went? It went till around 8 years, 10 years. Later on, people got annoyed by paying so much of money, so they got up something called as Selenium. Selenium is a open source, correct? In QTP or UFT, for you did not have plugins to automate desktop application. For that, you had to pay extra money. Okay, for each and every access, whatever you wanted to automate some other thing other than the web application. Say for example, print. or the desktop application like Paint, or some other application of that particular web application, if it is a desktop app, then you have to pay more. Okay, so they made it open source. Now, since open source has come, all the disadvantages of QTP was overcome by open source. You don't have to pay. You can customize it based on your requirement. You have multiple frameworks over here. Correct? TestNG is there, page object module is there, data driven is there, hybrid is there. Now there is an AI ML also included in this. So this eventually lost its value. Eventually it lost its value. Now, if you pay for a license, then the myth is it is secure. If you pay something, then it is valid. You go to Priyadarshini and have one plate of idli vada, you pay for it. You feel that the food is authentic. Correct? The same thing if you go and eat in a temple, it is free. Understanding the concept? But both are food, both are of the same material. The way they cook it is little bit different. The taste comes with a different thing. Okay? Here there is a set of guidelines. A plate of idli vada should have 2 idlis and 1 vada. Why not 3 idlis and 1 vada? In some of the hotels you will get 3 idlis also, but with smaller size. Correct? What is the rate? It is 65 to 80 rupees. It varies. Correct? Whereas in temple, it is free. You can have 10 idlis, 10 times the same food. There is no other change in the food. There is only one item. But it will fill your stomach. The whole agenda was to fill the stomach. Whether you pay it or whether you take it as free. Similarly, the same concept goes for soap and rest. Earlier, I told you they used XML. Okay? Then they were annoyed by using XML. Difficult to understand. They have to pay something extra. There are no knowledge people around the market about XML. They have to learn a lot, right? But when it comes for REST, okay, it is JSON. They changed from XML to JSON. So eventually XML lost its value because this became free. This became easy. This can be customized. Implementation was free, easy, and customized. Only thing that you have to follow some guideline. Okay, both of these will work on HTTP. Again, HTTP is nothing but a protocol. See, while preparing the food in the restaurant, they will have gloves, they will cook it very neatly, but eventually it's not neat. When you get inside the kitchen of a restaurant, it's not neat at all. It's the worst thing. Correct? But still the taste remains the same. But when you come to the temple food, the taste is much better than the restaurant. Right? Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The taste is much better than the restaurant. The hygiene part is much better than the restaurant. So people go for the temple food eventually, not on the paid version. Okay, this particular paid version or the XML used version, again it's a protocol itself because the name itself suggests it's a protocol. SOAP is a protocol. Okay. REST, it's not a protocol. It itself is not a protocol. It follows the protocol. But here, SOAP is a protocol. The full form of REST. Representational State Transform. REST. Okay. So instead of me calling it just as a request, here I will call this as REST request. Okay. REST request. Now, advantage of using REST. I told you it can be customized, correct? Easy and free, correct? What are those advantages? You will be able to see, okay, R, U, and D operations. You will be able to do CRUD operations, CRUD operations, not CRUD. It's CRUD. CRUD. I'll tell the
concept from React. React concept, CRUD operation.
Correct. Same. Whatever development happened on the microservices, the same thing. React, it is not based on the React concept. React is based on this concept. Okay. First, the APIs are built in the front end. Understanding that? Now, C is what? Create. R is retrieve. Guess you. In SQL, what and all operations you can do? You can create a data. You can retrieve the data. I'll teach. I'll give you basic of how it is. You can update a data, right? Update a data and delete a data. Easy? So far easy? You can create a data, retrieve a data, update a data, delete a data. Okay? Some of you didn't know what is SQL or how it works. Okay? SQL, have you seen Excel sheet? Microsoft Excel. You have rows and columns. Simple. The intersection of a row and a column is a cell. That box, rectangle box, is called as a cell. That is clear? Now, I'll give you this again. As I was explaining in the morning, see, MMT, you send a request, correct? The first point is the request will be in the form of JSON. The second point is this will be converted into POJ, correct? This is called as marshalling. I'll repeat 100 times this one in the class. This is called as marshalling, correct? This POJ will go to the database, correct? What do you mean by a database? In simple words, Excel sheet. Correct? It's not Excel sheet, it's the SQL. SQL is a language in order to access the data from the Excel sheet. Dumb way of telling for you to make understand that SQL is a language in order to access a database. A database is nothing but a storage of data. A storage of data in the form of table. Table is in the form of rows and columns. In the other way, it's exact replica of Excel sheet. Correct? Table is a, so say for example, this is a database. Inside this database, okay, you will have table 1. I'll give you the details of something like flight. Flight table. Okay. Origin table. Destination table. Three tables as an example. Three different tables. Okay. Flight table will have one table. Serial number. Flight name. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Serial number 1. Air Asia. Serial number 2. SpiceJet. Serial number 3. Jet Airways. Serial number 4. Qatar Airways. Okay na? So for easy, this is flight table. Origin table. Serial number. Origin country. Or state. If it is a country, it's a country. If it is a state, it's a state. Okay. Serial number 1, Delhi. Serial number 2, Mumbai. Serial number 3, Bangalore. It goes on. Gurgaon, whatever states you have, wherever flights are available. Destination. Replica of this. Correct?
Yes.
But the name of the column will be serial number and destination. Okay. In order to optimize the space, since it is same, the data is same, I will not give this as origin. Now, since origin and destination are of the same data, I'll maintain only one table. Correct? Now, I want to create one more state. Recently, Shimoga got added up as a destination for, or there was an airport which was built in Shimoga. Correct? Recently. Now, how do I update this? Serial number 5, SMG. I have written it in the pen. But how do you actually update that particular table? Using the language called SQL. Correct? Using the language called SQL. What is the syntax? There must be a syntax, right? Again, a protocol, a set of guidelines which needs to be followed when you are using a particular language. Java, you have a language, public,
Static.
void main, that is your main. Public class, adikkinta munche, you should have a public class. Correct? That's the basic syntax. So, for creating this particular row, this is a row, this is a column. Correct? In order to create this particular row or an entry in the database, you have a syntax of create, okay, create the data, comma, if you have two columns, into table name, what is the table name? Into the table name called as flight table. Easy? Correct? Really? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ 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 ಬರಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಜಾನು ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಹೌದೌದು ಇಲ್ಲ 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 ಅದು ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಹೌದೌದು ಸರಿ ಬಾಯ್ ಬಾಯ್ okay so you create a particular record okay into the flight table okay so this create is nothing but your C operation. This create is nothing but your C operation, that is create operation in the CRUD. Okay, easy? Yes, understood so much? Yes. Not on the flight, it should have been on the origin state for SMS. Okay na? Correct? Now in the front end in your web page, how does the create operation happen? Say for example you are doing a PhonePe transaction. While doing a PhonePe transaction, you have to activate your bank account number. Correct? It has to manually get added up. Or if you want to transfer your money through the net banking, you have to add a beneficiary. Correct? Have you done that transaction? Yes. You have to add a beneficiary. Correct? On the beneficiary, you have something called as add beneficiary button. When you click on add beneficiary button, you will have a list of details. What is that? Name, nickname, account number, IFSC, the other details, phone number, for OTP and all those things. Correct? These fields are nothing but your column names. The entire page of beneficiary is nothing but your beneficiary table. Okay? And you will have create button or add button. When you click on that, what happens internally is all this information along with your username and password, which will be transferred in the format of JSON will convert into POJO. POJO will be going to database. Database will now understand you have selected create. Correct? That operation will happen. How did you do this? Through the front end. But now the front end I wanted to eliminate. I wanted to test it using API. Easy? Yes. difficult. In the front end, this is called as create button. Correct? In the API, that particular command is called post. So you are going to create using which command?
Post.
Post command. Easy? Easy, difficult. You post a letter, the same post. You are creating a letter. You are creating an entry. You understood the link between the front end to the API to the create. Easy? Now, retrieve. We'll talk about retrieve. Now, if you have added the beneficiary, after 30 minutes, the beneficiary will get activated. Correct? Now, in the list of beneficiary, where initially you didn't have 0 entries, in the list of beneficiary, there is a page, right? List of beneficiary, select a beneficiary. There is a drop down. Correct? In that drop down, the beneficiary which you added XYZ very recently will get displayed. Correct? When you transfer button is there, transfer amount. When you click on transfer amount, the next page gets opened. The details of the beneficiary will be displayed. What kind of details? Bank account number, name, whatever IFSC code, whatever you had added there is getting displayed. That means you are fetching the data from the database. Easy? You are fetching the data. The command in SQL, how does it happen? Again, when you click on transfer button, again that particular details will be JSON, JSON to Pojo, Pojo to DB. DB will understand you want that data. How do you access the DB using SQL language? You access the DB using SQL language. In the SQL, instead of create, you have select star from beneficiary list table. Correct? This is the command. This is the command. This operation of retrieval the data from the database is called R, retrieval operation or retrieve. Okay, that operation is called as retrieve. But in the API, how do you do it? Instead of post, simple word get. అర్థమైందా రాజా? Easy. No rocket science. Okay. Now, R is done. I'll give you postman operations. How do you do it? Once you do that R, the database will give you the data in the form of Pojo. Pojo will be converted into JSON. It's called that will be displayed on the front end. Correct? That is front end headache. How will he convert the JSON into Allappa? Front end UI. How he will convert the JSON data? How will he take it, convert it? He will put it into the drop down or the text field or the button or those things, that is where front end technology comes in. React. Okay, easy. That is front end. We are not learning front end. We are worried only about API. We are not worried about SQL. That is back end headache. How will he take the Pojo classes? How will he convert it into SQL? Okay, there are many annotations which will directly convert from Pojo to SQL. Java will understand that this operation has happened. Give me that particular data. Okay, that is backend headache. Displaying from the JSON to the JSON response body to the front end is front end headache. Now, what is full stack developer? Who knows front end as well as back end? Database also. He should know database. He should know how to write optimized SQL queries. He should know how to write views. Okay, not our job, not the job of a tester. Easy. So far clear? R is done. Now you see that the account number was missing one particular number. Okay, one particular number. So you wanted you to update. You wanted to update. Or the nickname given to multiple beneficiaries were same. You are confused now. Which one is for which particular bank account? Because a single person can have multiple accounts. I am having HDFC, ICICI, Bank of Baroda. Right? If I add the beneficiary, if someone wants to add the beneficiary of mine, he can add Ramesh underscore HDFC, Ramesh underscore ICICI. If he fails to do that, he will get Ramesh. He will get confused. So he has to update the details. So there will be button in the front end called as update. Once he clicks on the update, these hard coded values become editable field. He can go and change it. He will update it to 001 in the end. And he will click on update button. Once he clicks the update button, this goes to converts into JSON. JSON into Pojo to DB. Now DB will understand it is an update. DB can't take Pojo and just do update. He has to use SQL. How will he execute using SQL? There is a update syntax. Update so and so from so and so to so and so. Update beneficiary list column from the beneficiary list table where the value of Ramesh is equal to row number 5 or whatever it is to Ramesh underscore ICS. Okay, that operation is called update. Correct? In the API, we do it using put. How do you create it? Post. How do you retrieve it? Get. How do you update it? Put. Now in the interview, what is the difference between post and put?
Post for creation and put for update.
Update. That is the valid 100% true. But don't you understand that creating a row is also nothing but updating the table? Creating a row, see, initially I had only 3, but I am updating with one more. It doesn't mean that I'm not creating. It doesn't mean that I'm not updating. So post can be used for both creating and updating. Put is used for update. Specific operation. Okay, easy. Now you feel that this account number is invalid. Account number is invalid. I don't want to have this number in the list of beneficiaries, so I want to delete that operation. Okay, there will be a delete button. You will select this particular beneficiary and click on delete. Again, delete will convert into JSON, JSON to POJO, POJO to DB. DB will not understand what is to be done using the POJO, but he will use SQL in order to delete that record from the table. Delete that record from the table. Now using instead of update, it will be delete. Same. That particular operation is called deleting. It is done in the Postman or in the API. Delete command. Understood? Easy. Any confusion on create, retrieve, update, delete? Here one more point. It is not CURD, CURD, it is CRUD. Okay. The reason, there is a reason why it is not CURD. You create a record, that is the first instance. Without retrieval, you cannot update it. Without seeing, you cannot just say update. You have to fetch the data, then do an update operation. Okay? So it is not update then retrieve, it is retrieve then update. You can still do multiple operations. Okay, you can still do multiple operations like you create, retrieve, update, delete. You can create, retrieve, update, retrieve, and then do delete. Is it necessary to delete? Not necessary until and unless there is a functionality given, a requirement given to delete. Is it necessary to create every time? Not necessary. Once it will be created, it will be there. Post that you will do all this operation, retrieve, update. Is it always needed to update? No. Not necessary. Retrieve is most commonly used. Correct? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಮಿ ಟು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ? ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕೇನ? ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ. So you understood REST, you understood SOAP, you understood CRUD operations. Okay, that is fine. So far clear? Shall I continue? Okay. We spoke about request body in the form of JSON. Correct? In the form of JSON. Now, JSON full form JavaScript object notation. How is the syntax of JSON? I told I'll cover this, right? What is the syntax of JSON? Flower bracket, open flower bracket, last you get close flower bracket. This is very simple. You will have key1 colon value 1. Okay, this will be key n colon value n. This is comma separated. So far easy. Now how, as an example for this, name, XYZ, account number 0001, nickname XYZ underscore name, IFSC HDFC 00013 name. Aita? What else? Branch name, address, phone number, location, number, close to that. Okay. Same as Java. Where did you learn key value pair? ಇನ್ನು collections ಆಗಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ? ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. In the collections you will look into this. Key value pair. Arrays completed. Array is this. Correct? If I have 1, 2, 3, then this becomes
List.
integer array. Because the data which is there inside the array is of the data type integer. This becomes an integer array. If I put it within the double quotes, then it becomes string array. Correct? Now at what position this is? 0. This is 1, 2. At the position 0, I have the value 1. It is nothing but at the position 0, you have the value 1. Correct? Instead of the system assuming that this is at 0, if I put into an array at the position 1, I have a name Ram. At the position 2, I have the name Sita. At the position 10, or for the value of 10, I have the name Ravana. Now, if I want to retrieve the value of Ram, then I have to pass the key of it, which will give me the value of it. If I have to retrieve the value of Ravana, then I cannot directly fetch Ravana. I have to pass the key. Then only I will get this value. So this becomes key value pair. This becomes the conversion of an array to collection. Easy? That Jyotish sir will teach you. Aita? Simply on the JSON part, it is key value pair. Okay? Key value pair. That is JSON. Over. The one which you send in the request body, this is called payload body or request body or just the payload, because this is the data. This is the data which you are sending. Now, how do you use this data? Are you going to use it for creating or updating or deleting? Easy. Retrieval, you even if you send the body or not body, you will get the data. That is direct select star from table name. Dama. Easy. Which is nothing but your post, put, delete operations. Easy. Correct. Along with this, you will be sending some protocol formats, HTTPS protocol formats. Okay, that I will show you in the post. What and all are the default protocols which is not to be remembered. It's okay because it's a default. Whether you say it or not say it, it goes in the back. That is why it is called as HTTP protocol. Now, the one which you get from the response becomes your response body. Correct? Assume that you have done a retrieval operation using the command get the list of beneficiary and you got these. This is the request body which you will get. The one which you sent was in the form of JSON. The one which you got in the form of JSON. You get this back. Correct? Now where does your testing comes? Whatever you asked for, did you get it or not? You have to validate it. Whether the name is XYZ is correct. Whether the account number 001 is correct. Whether the nickname is correct, IFSC is correct, branch name is correct, address is correct, phone number is correct, location is correct. Understood? Easy? So this validation is your testing part. Whenever you are doing a testing on a web application, you click on some button, you expect something. Whatever you got, it has to be validated. Before even if you got, or if even you go and watch what you have got, first you should get it, right? First you should get it. If I retrieve an empty, that means it does not have any data, correct? If the server itself is down, have you seen server down? Right? There are few web pages where the servers are down, correct? There you will get something called as 404. Yes, no, maybe. 404 is error code, correct? Where did you get it from? From the server. Server is not working properly. That is what? Or, okay, video results. Even if you hit it 10 times, even if you sit for 10 hours, you will get 404. Sometime next day, you will get the results. The web page still keeps on loading. Correct? Yes or no, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Have you come across this scenario?
Yes, sir.
Right? 404, correct? First of all, you should get it. Then whatever results you have got, you have to check. Oh, I have got 95, I have got 85, I have got 35. Then you will tell, 35, how did I get? I have written all the 8 answers. I'll put for rebuild. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So whatever you got, you are going to validate whether you got it correct or not. That is your testing. But first you should get it right. First you should receive it. So what the API has is something called as, or the protocols has, HTTP status codes. I'm adding one by one information. I'm feeding you guys. Okay. What you got is first you have to get it, then you validate the body. So how do you recognize that what you got or whether you are getting it or not? Using HTTP status code. There are again status codes starting from 100.
500.
It starts from 100 to 599. Again, it has been divided into 1XX, 5XX. Because these two numbers will vary, 101, 102, 103, 105, 501, 502, 503, 501, all those things. So I can give it as 2XX, 3XX, 4XX and 5XX. From 1XX, for 1XX, you have a name. 2x's you have a name, 3x's you have a name, 4x's you have a name, 5x's you have a name. Andre segmentation of the status codes. You know this is 400 server DMR, right? If you get 200, okay, working success, I got it. Okay, I'm not asking you to remember 599. What does it mean? The ask in the interview is, what are these segmentations? Okay, what does 1xx mean? What does 2xx mean? What does 3xx mean? What does 4xx mean? What does 5xx mean? In that you have some special cases, 404, 103, 201, 200, 204, 300. These are all special cases, very frequently used. Only those will be asked. Okay. The interview questions will be something like this. What is a web service? What is an API? What are the differences between those two? For that you can tell all web services are APIs, all APIs are not web services. Answer given, gone. Can you explain a web service? MakeMyTrip.com, explain it. How does the operation happen? It sends in the form of JSON. JSON to Pojo, Pojo to DB, DB to back to Pojo, Pojo to JSON, JSON will be your response body. Correct? JSON to Pojo, marshalling. Pojo to JSON, unmarshalling. Okay? What it happens in the database using the SQL is backend developer headache. What it happens from the JSON response body to the front-end web application, front-end headache. We are not ready to mingle there. Okay? Now, what are the CURD operations? Create, retrieve, update, delete. Okay, how do you do it? Post, get, put, delete operations. Easy. What do you send in the request body? It is called as a payload body. What is an URI? URL plus query parameters. Or a payload. Query parameters, payload, anything is fine. Okay. How do you identify the query parameters? After the question mark. Whatever comes is your query parameters. Okay. How do you send it? Do you use any authentication? Yes, sir. Basic OAuth 1, OAuth 2. In detail, we will look OAuth 1, OAuth 2. How do we do it? Because it's a practical session. If I make you understand by OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, you will not understand here. Before entering into the practical session, I'll give you a brief notes on OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, the difference between OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, so that when you do the practical, you will understand it practically. This is the one. Okay. Then what you want to validate? The response body. Along with that, status codes. How many status code? 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, 5xx. For each and everything, there is a name. We will look into it. The entire 3-day session I covered in 1 minute. That's all is the basics of API. Clear? Okay, what is the difference between SOAP and REST? SOAP is a protocol, REST is not a protocol. SOAP is XML. REST is JSON and XML, but XML is gone, so JSON. What is SOAP full form? Simple Object Access Protocol. JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. REST, Representational State Transfer. That's all. That's all is API. Now, how do you do it? How do you validate it? Is a question mark. That is what is pending. Which tool have you used? Postman. Straight away Postman. How did you validate? All those things I'll teach in the Postman. How do you execute? I'll teach in Postman. Clear? Okay. I'll stop the recording. Online guys, clear, not clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We will connect tomorrow. I'll update the timing in the group. Please be available.
Okay.